I finally understand why young Sheldon treated Missy poorly after a new reveal about her future. Many fans, myself included, have long wondered why Missy wasn't given the narrative attention she deserved. Why didn't we explore her dreams more? Why was she so often sidelined in pivotal family moments? And why did it feel like her pain, especially in later seasons, was shrugged off or forgotten? But now, a recent reveal about Missy's future has shifted everything. Suddenly, the show's treatment of her isn't just careless writing, it feels intentional. A tragic, layered narrative may have been hiding in plain sight. And for the first time, I finally understand why young Sheldon treated Missy Cooper the way it did. The reveal that changes everything. In The Big Bang Theory, adult Missy only appears a handful of times, but one line in particular stands out. In Season 2, Episode 15, The Maternal Capacitance, Sheldon casually reveals that Missy's life didn't exactly turn out the way one might have hoped. He mentions that she married a man who swore he'd never hit her again, and implies that she's stuck in a cycle of poor decisions and domestic struggles. At the time, the line was brushed off with the show's usual brand of dark humor. But in light of young Sheldon's emotional tone and more grounded character studies, it takes on a devastating new context. It suggests a future of pain, perhaps regret, and certainly emotional stagnation, one far less glamorous or fulfilling than we might have expected for the sassy, sharp, and empathetic little girl we saw growing up. With young Sheldon drawing closer to the events that lead into The Big Bang Theory, this tragic foreshadowing casts a long shadow over Missy's childhood. The showrunners knew where she would end up, and perhaps that knowledge informed every subtle neglect she suffered in her early years. A childhood of being overlooked. From Season 1, it was obvious that Missy had a unique energy that contrasted sharply with Sheldon's genius and Georgie's entrepreneurial ambitions. But instead of nurturing her individuality, the Cooper family, especially her parents, often brushed her aside. Her achievements were rarely celebrated. Her needs were often sidelined. And her frustrations, particularly in the later seasons, were met with eye rolls instead of empathy. It would be easy to chalk this up to bad writing or a focus on Sheldon's genius. But what if this consistent sidelining is part of the tragedy? What if Missy's lack of attention is the point? The show frequently depicts Mary and George Sr. devoting much of their emotional energy to Sheldon, making sacrifices, advocating for him, defending him. Georgie, the screw-up older brother, gets his own arc of redemption and independence. But Missy? She's the easy one, the one who gets it, the one who doesn't need fixing. And in the way so many real-life girls are, she's praised for being low maintenance, until the cost of that silence catches up to her. The real heartbreak comes from knowing that Missy was always more aware than people gave her credit for. She knew she was being overlooked, and she internalized it. The rebellion that no one noticed. In later seasons, Missy starts acting out subtly at first, then more overtly. She skips school, sneaks out, talks back. At one point, she even gets caught shoplifting. But instead of these actions being treated as cries for help, they're played as teenage girl drama. And that's the problem. Missy's rebellion is a textbook example of a child trying to regain agency in a household where her needs are constantly minimized. She watches her twin get praise, scholarships, and parental protection. She watches her older brother get second chances, jobs, and love. And she, who's forced to navigate puberty, isolation, and her parents' failing marriage without any serious emotional support, is left to figure it out alone. No one asks Missy what she wants from life. No one asks if she's okay. And when she does act out, it's rarely treated with the gravity it deserves. By the time George Sr. dies, a seismic moment in the family's story, Missy is already on a dark path. And the grief only accelerates it. A girl lost in the middle. In a very real way, Missy is the classic middle child of the Cooper household. Sheldon's the genius. Georgie's the oldest. Missy's the extra. And that invisibility, I believe, is what the show has been quietly building toward all along. While Sheldon got opportunities to explore his talents and Georgie found his way through business ventures and later a family of his own, Missy seemed increasingly adrift. That wasn't an accident. In Season 7, her scenes are filled with loneliness. We see her at school, sitting apart from the others. We see her coming home to a distracted mother and absent father. And worst of all, we see her learning, wrongly, that she can only get attention through chaos. It's painful to watch, but it mirrors the reality of countless young girls in similar positions. Gifted in unseen ways, ignored in the shadow of louder family members, and left to stumble through adolescence without a roadmap. The show's quietest tragedy, what young Sheldon has done, whether consciously or not, is craft a character who embodies the tragedy of being left behind in your own story. Missy isn't treated poorly because the writers forgot about her. She's treated poorly because that's the narrative, a smart, emotionally attuned girl who is overlooked, underestimated, and eventually broken down by the world around her. Her future, as hinted in The Big Bang Theory, doesn't come out of nowhere. It's built brick by brick in young Sheldon, hidden behind throwaway lines, uncelebrated milestones, and emotional neglect. And that realization is devastating, because it means we watched a tragedy unfold in real time, not through big moments, but through silence. Through all the times no one asked Missy what she wanted. Through every time she sat in the background, unheard. Through every "not now, sweetie," and "you'll be fine." It's not that Missy wasn't important. It's that no one ever told her she was. A deserved redemption that may never come. As young Sheldon came to its conclusion, there were small signs that Missy might forge her own way. She began to stand up for herself more. She challenged her parents. She demanded to be seen. But the ending doesn't offer a full redemption arc. And perhaps it was never meant to. Because not every story ends with triumph. Some end with resignation. Some with quiet survival. And if young Sheldon remains true to the canon of The Big Bang Theory, Missy's fate isn't one of glittering success. It's a life defined by hardship, resilience, and unspoken sorrow. Still, many fans hold out hope that Missy's story isn't over. That maybe in future spin-offs or even young Sheldon-inspired sequels, we'll get to see her reclaim her narrative. She deserves that much. She deserves to be the hero of her own story, not just the overlooked sister of a genius. Final thoughts. In rewatching young Sheldon with this new context, I see Missy not as a poorly written character, but as the show's quietest, most